Hello and welcome to this webinar about recognising poetic conventions. For years 7 to 9 now, we have 3 key learning aims. We want to be recognising caesura, recognising enjambment and recognising rhyme scheme, and we're looking at a specific poem very briefly at the end of this webinar, Silver by Walter de la Mare. Now, the first poetic convention that we want to recognise is caesura. Now, caesura is a break or a pause in a line of a poem. So often this is done to get the attention of the reader. It's some kind of dramatic effect, or it can be used for contrast and comparison. So, for example, we have, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. You can see caesura is used here with a question mark. It gets you to stop. Well, how do I love thee? It's forcing the reader to consider, how can love be expressed? How can love be felt? And then this one, I war with the wind, with the waves I wrestle. Again, this is a dramatic pause. How can you war with something that's unseen? It's again forcing the reader to consider the idea. To err is human, to forgive is divine. So you can see the contrast that as humans we sin, but if we can forgive, it's a quality that's godlike. Secondly, enjambment. Now, enjambment is a poetic convention that's the opposite of caesura. It's actually when a line of poem continues through to the next line. This is indicated by that the thought or the idea is ongoing. It's continuing on. So, for example, I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree. So you can see instead of stopping at the end, the enjambment forces that thought, that idea to continue into the next line. We've got some more examples here that are up on the screen, but the one that is in the blue box is the one I want to draw your attention to. It says, but writers like to catch us by surprise by running one line into another without a pause, sometimes as to suggest the idea or message that they want to give is too important to interrupt. So that's a clever poem that uses the poetic convention of enjambment that goes from one line flowing into another to show the idea. The thought continues. Perhaps it's too important to interrupt, or it's showing a sense of pace and speed. This one here again uses enjambment. The baby cooed and laughed and rocked in the pram when I came in, and I was embarrassed by old men standing up to shake my hand and tell me they were sorry for my trouble. So you can see that that continuous movement is the sense of awkwardness, and the speaker in the poem not knowing exactly what to do as the baby's cooing and people are holding his and shaking his hand. The final poetic convention we're thinking about is rhyme scheme. Now, rhyme scheme is a pattern of sounds that repeats itself at the end of a line. Now, the rhyme scheme can change from line to line, from stanza to stanza, or it might be a continuous rhyme scheme throughout a whole poem. Now, these rhyme patterns are encoded by letters of the alphabet, and the lines designated with the same letter rhyme with each other. So, for example, the rhyme scheme A, B, C, B means that the first and the third lines don't rhyme, but the second and the fourth lines do rhyme. So, for example, you can see here on the screen, true friends are by your side through it all. True friends are there to catch you when you fall. So you can see the first and the third line are A and C. They don't rhyme, but all and fall, the second and the fourth line rhyme. So the rhyme scheme, you can have the encoded, the designated letters of the alphabet that show where the rhyme patterns are. So let's end by briefly looking at a poem by Walter de la Mare, Silver. Slowly, silently, now the moon walks the night in her silver shoon. So you can see slowly, comma, silently, comma, are examples of caesura. They slow the pace down. They really make us think that the moon itself is being personified, walking around, shoon, which means clothed in silver. And you can see the enjambment here. Now the moon walks the night in her silver shoon. You can see that continuation of the thought from the first into the second line really shows that sense of continuation as the moon goes through the night, walking in silver, bright, luminous and beautiful. And you may also have noticed, finally, that the rhyme scheme is AA, BB, CC, EE, FF, GG, HH, because it's in rhyming couplets, in pairs of lines that rhyme with each other. I hope that that's helped you to understand the poetic conventions of caesura, enjambment and rhyme scheme. Thank you for joining me, and goodbye.